Four of Pentacles pops out. Let's see what you're holding on to. Four of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. Feeling stuck in a rut. Feeling stuck in a rut, unsatisfied. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You're being disappointed by this. You're not taking chances to get to here. Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so you're spinning your wheels. You're spinning your wheels to try to get to the Ten of Pentacles. And you're obsessed with why isn't this happening, right? The Devil is about kind of like obsession, overthinking, addiction. You might have an addiction that is getting in your way of the Ten of Pentacles, or you might have an addiction that's keeping you, I see 111 on the clock right now, that's keeping you in this stuck energy because you're falling back into the same mannerisms, I want to say, but it's not mannerisms, it's the same routine, same habits, right, that keep you in this loop of not changing. Now you're judging yourself because you're just like, okay, well, I need to make a change. I know this, I know it's not working, right? So then the next thing is, all right, well, what do I have to do differently? What do I have to do differently? And judge yourself and ask yourself, okay, well, am I doing this? Am I doing what's necessary to get out of this stuck loop that I'm in? What could I do different? What's something that I haven't done? King of Cups. Maybe it's listening to your heart. Sometimes if we're usually, if we tend to be more practical and approach to life all the time, and we're always thinking in our heads, which isn't good or bad, it's just being imbalanced where you are constantly in your head, but you're never really listening to what your heart is saying, what your heart wants, what your heart is yearning for, or just what would make you happy. What would make you happy? Happiness is such a frivolous word because it's fleeting. It doesn't last forever. But, you know, contentment, you know, happiness, King of Cups has it all. He's floating on, you know, on a sea of life with his cup, and he's grinning like he's content, right? He's satisfied. So maybe there's something here where you're being so practical in your approach to doing something that you're losing the love of it, right? You're losing the love of the game, the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So you might be an overthinker, and you think yourself into a loop and you stay stuck. And then you get disappointed because you're getting the same result over and over again. And you're just like spinning your wheels in the mud, right? And you're trying to gain traction. It's just digging a deeper hole for yourself. You are someone that is very goal-oriented and is focused on getting to the Ten of Pentacles. You're thinking wisely because you are a thinker. You're just overthinking to the point where there's no action. There's no different action. If the actions that you're doing now are not getting you to a place of where you want to be, you have to think outside of your own little box that you put yourself in. King of Swords. Three Kings. The Three Kings are here. The Three Kings are here. Whoever this reading is for, you are a very responsible person. And you try to stay as balanced as possible. Like, you're a person that really looks at yourself and judges yourself in a good way because you have a productive mindset, 444 on the clock. You're someone that gets jobs done. You're someone that actually makes changes. So I don't feel like this reading is like a disappointing reading in the fact that, like, just because you're feeling stuck right now doesn't mean that you're gonna stay stuck, because some people just stay stuck and ultimately they give up after a while. Some people figure out a new approach to getting your car out of the mud, as an example, and it's not the way that you thought was going to work. But this is the type of reading where you are a person that is very astute in your life, and you know what your problems are. You know what your addiction is. You know what your whatever is distracting you at this moment. You already know that. If you want to be honest with yourself, it's not like you have to find the answer. You know. Strength. Opposing forces. Leo energy. Taking control of your life. You are taking the reins of your reality. Queen of Swords. Here we go. Finally, Queen here. I think sometimes with overthinkers, people that are like, that have a very, very busy mind and they have problems shutting it down, shutting it off, even just for a little bit of time, because they're so hyper, you know, like their mind might be hyper, where you're just like going a mile a minute, right? And taking just a deep breath and refocusing yourself and simplifying is the best course of action to calm your mind down temporarily and focus without getting your emotions in the way or overwhelming yourself, to see a different point of view. Because if you're in a state of anxiety, if you're in a state of hyperness, manicness, fear, any kind of negative emotion, anger, you're not going to be able to see things clearly. You're going to be thinking differently about scenarios. So one part of simplicity, living in a simple life, is your actions, right? Like not doing things sometimes is an action. And when you like pay attention to your heart, you know, think about kindness, not harming anything or anyone, the world around us, taking care of the world around us, learning to be aware of our heart, whether our heart is smashed into smithereens or, you know, fully intact and thriving. You know, we still all have a responsibility in this world to treat each other kindly, because that's how we collectively heal. So like a flower, your heart has cycles too. Sometimes it opens and sometimes it closes at night. If you ever look at plants, they move. They're moving living beings, and some plants move a lot, you know, so at night they'll close up all the leaves like they're going to sleep, and then in the morning they open up again. And that could be you as well. It's nature. It's birth, death, it's Scorpio energy, right? Transformation, it's fineness. And we need to love and respect all the times in the cycle of our lives, to really respect our life's purpose, our dreams, and giving us a break when we fail. Sometimes we have to get up off our knees, dust off the dirt, and continue walking, running, crawling, whatever you can do to keep going forward. So even in the most difficult times of these ups and downs, the simplicity purpose of this whole thing is we could just take back whatever we don't want to do and get our lives back to being simple, our lifestyle, you know. Recognize that staying busy or being entangled with people that you don't want to be entangled with, or just making your life complex for no reason, getting yourself into trouble, you know, tempting yourself, right? The devil kind of energy. It's all unnecessary for our happiness. Like, we try to make ourselves happy through difficult scenarios, but you know when a situation or a person is pure because it's simple. You know that you're onto something, or you know that you're onto the truth when the answer is simple. And then we build up all these complex rationalizations on top of our truth, our true north. But finding joy in being simple is where we're going to find answers to life, and also is going to find our breath again. We're going to recognize that we're sitting on the earth. It's moving. It's a huge moving rock in the middle of space. And we're sitting on this, becoming aware of just our bodies being supported by this huge rock and feeling grounded into it and feeling part of it, because we all are part of each other, if you want to get all woo-woo. So when you become one pointedness, or just more simple in your approach, I think you'll find different ways of getting into this heart space that you're lacking. But overthinking can have its advantages as well. So don't take it as like a bad thing if your mind is hyperactive, but you also have to have a chance to turn it off every now and then, especially these types of people that are constantly going. You have to learn to just, even for an hour, that would be the most ideal, just a quick refresh of simplicity, whatever that is. If you have to pick one thing to stay focused on, to practice, some people practice looking at a flame, instead of just being like, I can't meditate, I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to just sit there, and just let my mind wander. Sometimes we focus on one thing, just step into meditation. So focus on a flame, focus on a picture, focus on an idea. Some people have mantras where they say the same thing over and over again. Some people sing, some people run, whatever it is that will keep you in this one pointed nature to focus. Stay simple in your approach. That's where new answers will come.